Lately, I've really been focusing on improving my day-to-day habits to essentially to recover better, just to be healthier and happier as an athlete, and just to get through the day-to-day training a little bit more easily. So this is what I've been doing for a while. Every morning I get up, come outside, and bring my breakfast outside with me, and I eat my breakfast outside, get exposed to the natural light, and I find that really helps to just set my circadian rhythm, and it really improves my sleep. So I get up, usually I wake up anywhere between like 7:45 and 8:25 range. Kind of get up, make 2 eggs, 2 pieces of toast, come on outside, eat breakfast out here, and try to stay out here at least 15 minutes. Other things for sleep improvement, I've been turning the lights off like way earlier, just using candlelight, and then in the evenings not watching TV. And obviously the screens are bad for sleep, but also just trying to do some things that are more using my brain in a different way, like reading. I've actually borrowed my dad's guitar, trying to learn how to play it, and just think something that's a little bit more creative. I've actually been reading this book, Out of Thin Air, so my friend Ryan lent me that, and I've been reading that. I've just been enjoying kind of just chilling in the evening, not having screens, and just sort of doing a different routine that it really does make me tired, and I've been sleeping a lot better as a result. Other things, general day-to-day habits. I think for me, having routines has been super important, and I've just been adding a lot of these routines over the last 2 weeks. But one of them is I now use a journal to kind of record my thoughts on training. Like I have sections on swim, bike, and run. I have a section on the athletes I coach, sections on just everything I need to think about, and then just writing it down and having somewhere to sort of record it. Writing things down, it just really helps me to like actually organize my thoughts and not get distracted. Every time I pull my phone out, I'm getting distracted and just wasting a ton of time. So those have been some of the habits I've kind of implemented. But in terms of training, the most important one that I've changed recently, and I can't believe it took me this long to do this, is just a prehab routine of stretches and a little bit of activation that I do every single day before training. Just wanna dance, want a simple romance, nothing more, nothing. Before I start my first workout, I do my prehab routine. So right now that involves 3 stretches. They're all sort of designed to prevent my hips from being twisted to the left, because it's always my tendency is to be rotated to the left. Like right now I'm sitting rotated to the left, so I'm gonna go the other way. But that's kind of what happens in a race where my back really bothers me on the bike. It's because I'm really twisted to the left, and I've always had these stretches, and I've always known this, that doing these stretches will help, but I've never actually had a daily routine that I do every single day before training to be able to see, okay, am I correcting the issue? Am I getting myself into a good neutral position before starting training? Last 2 weeks I've been doing that, and it's amazing how much like less little aches and pains I feel during training, and just more efficient, especially on the bike and run, when I'm just in a more neutral position. It's been incredible. And now I actually have a way to check, doing the exercise where I cross my right leg over my left. I sort of see when I do that, am I twisted to the left or am I a little bit more neutral? So usually I'm twisted before I do the stretches. Once I do all the stretching routine, I'm a lot more neutral, and that's kind of the goal. I do that activation routine, then I do my training, and some days it's just an easy training, and even still I do my prehab for that. But for the hard days, I'll do that, and then I'll do a focus block of training. Then I'll rest, usually a couple hours at least, sometimes take a nap because the training's heavy, and then I'll reset that routine again. I'll do the prehab again, and I'll do my training in the afternoon. So it's usually 2 blocks of focus with the prehab routine before each. And just having that routine and setting that sort of pace of the day, like wake up, get ready, train, rest, wake up, train, rest. It's been awesome, and I've been feeling really, really good. I've chatted with Simon Whitfield a couple times lately, and he's just taken an interest in chatting with me and seeing is there some experience he has that might be able to help me. And A lot of these things are things he's tried that have worked for him. And on the other one that he suggested that I've been doing is cold showers, like as cold as the water will go, which is interesting because it's super uncomfortable, but it's amazing after a few how your body adapts to it. And I've been doing it mostly every day for about 3 to 5 minutes, and it actually, like, you feel really good after. And I don't know what it does, but it's been feeling good. And St. George is going to be a cold race, so doing the cold showers is definitely not a bad thing. Those have just sort of been the habits I've been implementing, and committing to just, what's the best way I can go about my daily routine for mental health and just for physical ability to execute the workouts. And all the training has been going really, really well. Like, I've been seeing bike numbers I haven't seen pretty much ever in training, and the swim and the run are also both as strong as they've ever been. So, just got to keep believing in the process, and that the good race results will come soon, hopefully at St. George, where the course and the conditions really suit me. Really what sort of sparked this was, the last 3 races haven't been good. Mont Tremblant was kind of okay, and then the early season stuff, obviously Oceanside was great, but aside from that, it's been kind of like good-ish or not so great races the rest of the year. It does make you start to think, okay, obviously something needs to change to get back to that consistency that I've always had. Sometimes some of the thoughts in my head were like, do I really need to change everything? Do I need new coach, new training plan, all those things? And I kind of came back to looking at my training and my performance in training and realizing I'm in great shape from March onward. I've been in shape to be competitive at these races, I believe. So it really came down to how can I get the most out of myself at the actual race, the most out of the fitness that I've built and the experience that I have. This is where a lot of these ideas came from chatting with Simon Whitfield as well, and he was sort of realizing the same thing. He's like, I don't think you need to reinvent the wheel here, just what can you do to get more out of yourself? And all these habits that I just talked about have been really, really big, but also writing everything down, having my section of, okay, race week in my journal. This is race week stuff. These are the things I've done wrong earlier this year in these other races. This is how to avoid those mistakes, or things that could go wrong based on the course, based on my equipment, anything. So being more organized definitely helps that. I kind of am more of the belief of training is an art, and yes, of course, everything can be measured, and that's totally legitimate, and it obviously works. But I really do think you can sort of find all those little differences and those sweet spots in your training without actually measuring it, and you can use your own body's kind of cues and how you feel to actually be able to do that. So I do think when it comes to the actual training and executing the training, that's not something I need to change, and it's something I've become very good at, very in tune with my body, and it's very uncommon for me to come out of a workout and think, oh, I didn't do this right, or I went too hard or too easy or anything like that. I pretty much seem to nail those. So it's all the times in between. How can I recover better? How can I make less mistakes at races? All those sorts of things that have been sort of the inspiration for why should I be, changing things at all. Every single race that I've won has been hilly on the bike course. That's not to say I can't win on a flat course, but when it comes for setting me up for success, probably the most common theme is the hilly bike course, and then also most of my wins have been not super hot conditions. It's either, sometimes it's been pretty hot, but my very best results compared to others seems to be on cooler conditions, less than 20 degrees, even 10 degrees. So that's, St. George, hilly bike course, cooler conditions, and then the other piece that seems to help me is having a wetsuit swim. So it has all 3. So I think you stack me up against those same guys in Dallas, you put them all in St. George, and have a great day, and I do believe I can be competitive for a top 3, and that's, you just gotta have belief in yourself all the time, but part of it does come down to the tactics of each individual race. Some people are great in the heat, some prefer the cold like me. And taking all those things into account, then yes, Dallas probably did go okay. And obviously the other races were worse, but I've learned lessons from them, and I can't wait to sort of prove to myself that yeah, I am still fit, I can do well. St. George is my course, and I love racing there, and I'm confident I'm gonna have a good day. Can't wait to get out there. Gonna be training with some friends next week. You guys will hopefully see that, and get down to St. George. We're gonna have lots of content coming out of RTS, so follow them on YouTube and obviously Instagram and everything. And St. George is the big race of the year, so doing that and then jumping over to Mexico for a fun race the next week. So thanks for following, like and subscribe, and see you next time.